This is Cosmic Conversations, episode 32. We have a very important topic today. In fact, it's so important, we might not even talk about it. What this important topic really is, is it's all about confidence. So, before we get into talking about confidence, because this is probably one of the more articulated questions about confidence. But I generally do get questions about like self-esteem. How does one feel good in general? It's all here. So before we get started, it's just important for you to know that you are tapping into the root of the symmetry. I'm your boy Tahuti, here to help us connect, communicate, and correlate all of our infinite individuality so that we can get our spirituality popping in this reality. Confidence. This is our topic, specifically to confide when we think about the word confidence. Our question. I've been chanting, trying to keep my faith in the universe, and I found I wasn't trusting myself. And confidence was what I felt to a focus. How do you become confident within yourself? So this is like very important context. Specifically, I've been chanting, so doing rituals, using your body to get into a certain vibration, to create something. And what you're creating here then is faith. So you're doing things to generate an emotion, but that emotion is labeled with the thought of faith. Faith in the universe. And when we think of like, what is faith? Yeah, trust. Really, that's what comes up then. Faith in the universe, found I wasn't trusting myself. So this is actually the key of this question right here. Going from chanting to keep my faith in the universe, and then found I wasn't trusting myself. You are the center of your own universe. And it's truly that. Spirituality is individuality. You are an infinite individual. And the way that you feel about that creates your entire life. So that says a lot, like right there. That you are doing things with your body. You're going through certain rituals and ceremonies to get a certain outcome. So there's something that you're trying to achieve. So you're chasing your dreams in that way. Uh, but then you stop yourself because you don't actually have the high vibration that you feel like you need to put in to the ritual that will let you manifest what will actually make you happy. So it's like interesting layers of as spirits, we just have to remember that we are desireless. We are infinite. We are not love, we are not hate, we are not emotion, we are not thought, we are nothing. Thought and emotion are two opposite sides of the spectrum of the thing that we call life that we must pull together in order to experience ourselves. So you are the universe. So if you're chanting, trying to keep your faith in the universe, that's already you saying that you are doing things with your body to try and keep faith in yourself. And then you turn around and say that you weren't trusting yourself. So the universe can't trust you if you don't trust yourself. You yourself are the universe. Now, if we think about it, yes, you are in a space where you know that you as an individual are with other individuals. So this is where people know that they're in a universe, and it's like overall feminine, it's overall cosmic, because that's the all one realm. So we are here being all one because we feel like connecting. So in terms of like universes, there's three that make up all of just everything. There's nothingness, that's just infinity, no imagination. Then there's the alone universe, where every spirit has their imagination where they're alone. And then there's the all one realm, where if spirits feel like connecting with other spirits based on their imagination, they can project into this all one realm, which is where we are, creating water. And then the air is how the water looks, and the air is us communicating. So everything in the all one realm is communicating at once, so to say, because it's all just based on the imagination of the spirits making it. We just have to ground it because it's so wild that it's really important that we then turn into earth, which is us actually linearly blocking it out. So if you want to manifest things, like I figure, I mean, especially so many people work jobs, like you do things for money, you do things that you don't want to do to get something that you do want to do, because white supremacy has the earth realm so much on lockdown. So I'm sure a big part of this is freedom. Like literally, like when we're thinking about like the universe and being free and like the divine feminine, it is not meant to be controlled. We're just meant to control ourselves inside of it so we can actually communicate and build structures. But water itself is like you cannot control it. You just have to let it flow. So that's where to manifest, you would have to generate the proper water inside of yourself before you can actually flow with that current in the universe. Because everything in the universe exists because it's you. So that's where when you know that you're part of the all one realm, the water realm, and that it's because you feel like connecting your imagination, your unique individual imagination to this world, then that's where this is where confidence comes in. So confidence to confide. That is a secret right there. What is a secret? A secret is something unseen. No one can see a secret. It's something that only the creator knows or a few people know. So a secret is like astral realm stuff. That's like your internal darkness. Your really your fire and water that no one else can see. Um, so it would really be your fire, which no one can see. And then it's up to you if you feel like telling a secret. Telling a secret would be like revealing a part of your imagination through your water, which then becomes air. And then that's where now that secret's not a secret, now it's a structure. The moment you turn it into thoughts here, now it's reality. And everybody's like, whoa, boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, here's a structure. This is how we think of you now. So that's why, people don't want their secrets out because it changes the structure of how other people think about them, judge them, because that's what four is, judgment. We're judging how to communicate. So a secret is generally a secret based on how you perceive others will judge you for it. So confidence is about having secrets that support your feeling. Um, so for example, like me as the spirit who created Chikatet and thus Tahuti, who is now known as Thoth in this white supremacist English world, and also then that would just trickle down into Hermes Trismegistus in Greek and Rome. Um, literally, that's my secret, as in that's my internal realm, because these are all my external creations from my internal realm. So in this lifetime, it would be like quote unquote, right? My secret, that's where my confidence comes from, is knowing that I am my spirit. So the spirit that created all these things, I am Iracel, as in like that would be like the highest name for the spirit. Really, Iracel is becoming symmetry. That's what this lifetime, this whole awakening is about. So when we're talking about secrets, it's truly about believing in your individual nothingness. So it's important for you to know that you as a spirit are individually nothing. And all you have to do is believe in your creations. And so I've just consistently through my lifetimes believe in myself, believe in my creations. And then that helps other people believe in themselves. A lot of people like to just act like they're me and colonize the creations that work so that they can then make money and ride off a wave. And hey, that's how you know that you've made it. So when you're talking about manifesting with the universe, it's really about you communication. It's really about you communicating your imagination and your feelings properly in this space, so that spirits who want to fulfill that space for you can. That's like how I would build the pyramids, where it's just vibration from a higher dimension. And it's not about doing it just me. Spirits have to agree to create the bodies that make up the sand and make up the earth and just make up all the components. Like the whole point of the all one realm is that everything is a spirit. Nothing can be done alone. The only thing that can be done alone is being alone, which is your imagination. So when you know that you're here and you're being all one, but you're happiest then if you're really happy when you're alone. And now it's just a matter of how do you create what it looks like when you're alone internally, externally. Definitely chanting and all this is the way to go. That's literally chanting is you uniting specific thoughts with a vibration. You're holding the intention of whatever you want. But this is where a lot of manifestation goes haywire because people really get, we talked a little bit about this in the Manifest Your Dreams Cosmic Conversations, where people get too much into wanting something. So when you know as a spirit, you can't create something you want because if you want it, that means you don't have it. And as a spirit, you have everything because you are nothing. So that's where a lot of manifestation it's important. Your manifestation will happen faster if you're coming at it from the space of nothingness instead of earth. Most people come at their manifestations from the space of earth, from a logical space where there's things they can see and then that's what they believe in. So they're putting all their two into what they can see because that's the four when they themselves are the four, but then they are assuming that what they see infers and is what they are because they're not actually experiencing how infinite and individual they are in their nothing space. So then that's where people who want to manifest, they will generally try to go up, and that's like working against yourself, trying to go up the pyramid. All right, I build pyramids from the top down. Like pyramids are not built from the bottom up. It's about having a point, a specific point. See, like, because that's how triangles work, where it's like it spreads. So, like, anytime you like project a light, right? Like, this is how the pyramids are literally built. It's shooting a light. Like, when you shine a flashlight, it goes in a triangle and it spreads out from that point. Let me hit this real quick. But we're just talking about how light spreads, okay? Because it's like circles, triangles, and squares. And a triangle is half a square. So, like, the pyramids are that shape in a three-dimensional way. But like a pyramid, a triangle is a shape because it's half of an idea. So when you're manifesting, when you're focusing on like having confidence, it's really important that you have something to be confident in. That you as a spirit know that you're nothing, and then from there you create an imagination that is a pure expression of your nothingness, beyond the judgments of this world, beyond how other people like view you or whatever. Because that's the point of Earth. That's the point of white supremacists colonizing Earth, is so that they can keep spirits out of touch with themselves by getting everyone lost in details that they made up. And the details only resonate because they stole the actual ideas from indigenous individuals. And so now they're using that against spirits who resonate with those ideas, and then they're trapped. And then it would take the people who actually created those ideas coming back and using the tools that everyone is limited with to explain it and do it all over again. So confidence is you being married internally. Like a lot of this stuff comes down to you having an awesome imagination and awesome feelings about your imagination and combining them into an awesome child that is you so that you can just constantly communicate who you truly are. And that's confidence, right? It's right there with the con. Everything that we see with con is about people being connected. So it's all two energy, cons. Calm is three energy, where, I mean, communication is all about just three is the air, but things can't communicate if they're not connected. So when you think about a convention or a conversation, it is about connecting so that then you can communicate from there. Um, So, yeah, to feel confident within yourself is very much about wanting to connect with yourself. And that's where people who connect with themselves really well appear confident. That's why, like, spiritually, this is what confidence is. You can't see people's internal realms. You can just see that it looks like they have it together. And that's your judgment. They may not feel like they have it together. most confident people don't feel like they have it together. It's truly like just a spiritual thing of like the a spectrum of awareness, and because it's like it's important to feel like you have it together, but it's just in my opinion, the moment you feel like you have it together, you get comfortable and you don't grow anymore. So confident people, at least in my experience, confident people like to feel uncomfortable. Life begins outside the comfort zone because we know spiritually we're most comfortable when we're desireless. And desire is actually discomfort. And white supremacy, people who are lost in colonizing my ideas and other spirits' ideas, are lost in the flip side of how desire is somehow comfort. So now we have killing the planet because all these individuals are living in their individual desires. Where if everyone was focused on being desireless, we'd actually be connecting and living like indigenous peoples were and communicating in a harmonious way like Egypt and Mesoamerica was, without then Europeans coming in and colonizing and feeling the need to project so hard that they are everything. So now we think we're in year 2021. Okay. So, yeah, confidence, truly, confidence is so subjective. Like when one looks confident, they may not feel confident, but the only way you're really going to look confident is if you feel confident. It's just that you never want to get lost in the feeling of confidence, or else you become what this world loves to label a narcissist, or egotistic, or selfish, or whatever. Because now it appears that you're too involved in your internal realm. So, like, if someone's like too confident, like I'm thinking like what too confident is. Too confident would be someone who communicates their internal realm despite the feelings of others. So that would be like in a social situation where they decide that it would be best to say something that like clearly hurts someone else's feelings because they are so confident in their spirit, in their imagination, that they should do this because it will like better the other person. They're like, I really feel like I should shine a light on this about you. And like I talk about in tablet talks, anytime a spirit claims to be shining a light on you to see something, they're literally only projecting their vision into you. That's it. That's it. You can't see something if you're the one shining the light. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You're seeing what you want to see based on the light that you're shining. So now you got to like get into a whole thing of what is this light that you're shining for you to think that you're seeing what there is. When if it was just dark, then you would actually feel it out, which is the way more true version of knowing, whatever, seeing, because light is just details, and then from there the light would come out of whatever you're trying to perceive or whatever. But it is like, yeah, if something wants to be hidden, it's not going to shine a light, and then that's where other entities who want to see that hidden thing will shine their own light on it and see the version of that thing that they want to see based on that light. So that's a huge factor that gets in the way of most spirits' confidence, is how they're having other spirits' light projected onto them. How are others like viewing them? And then it's like all these invisible become visible, though expectations, manifest in your behavior. These invisible expectations weigh you down, right? It's literally light, because all external stuff, when we're just talking about words with the air and earth, is light and heavy. So air is light, earth is heavy. This is everything we can see is air and earth, and is pointing towards fire and water, which is being created by nothingness. So all of that is five cycle reality. So that's just nothing, fire, water, air, and earth. This is all of manifestation. We make metal by taking fire to the earth that we created through life. So that's when metal, esoterically, would be you like figuring out your imagination, what you want to manifest, and then using water and air to build an earth structure. And once that earth structure represents that very well, then you use the imagination that that water and then air help create that earth from, to then hit that earth. And now you're building a like spaceship. That's why like spaceships, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything's metal, because metal is narcissistic logic spiritually. Metal is earth, focused on its own fire, whereas earth without fire is focused on creating life by letting water nurture it. So then that's where water creates life. 2 plus 4, boom, we have sex, 6. So all of nature is like water and earth, really. And water is just what air looks like. We just really feel like calling it water to really refer to that internal, that we just feel like being here. If you don't feel like being here, you wouldn't be here. And that's why it's so wrong that white supremacist spirits, light supremacist spirits, uh, European, really the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution is big in China. That's why I say light supremacist instead of white, because it's really about the oppression of darker skinned people overall, just using them to serve the desires of light skinned people, because light skinned people are serving the desires of the spirit that is manipulating them. So it's like this pyramid scheme of spiritual colonialism turned into corporation that siphons the souls of everybody by making them not feel confident in their own imaginations based on how they're projecting this sunlight onto you. And just like in general, all this light, like just all these light projections so that you can't see your own imagination. And like, then that's just where the whole testament, which is the point of this question, is your feeling. Like, you can't see your imagination and you can't see your feelings. Your feelings are heavier than your imagination, though, aren't they? Like, this is why fire is 1 and water is 2. It balances out all the fire. So it includes everything about fire while also being the opposite. This is why fire, desire, is death. You can't just live in doing what you want, or else you're an ultimate narcissist. That's I, and you're dead. Like you're just not sustainable. No, that's not life. Like, a spirit isn't I. A spirit is an individual. This is the paradox of life. This is why 3 is perfect. 3 is perfect. 3, 6, 9. Perfect. 3 is awesome. Because it's about fire, this individual, also having this collective part of it. And so now that comes together to represent an individual who is balanced. They are about being an individual and also about being part of the collective, a collective. And then that's where we have humans. So your confidence in your imagination is like, you have to, so specifically you're trying to manifest something in this context and you feel like you can't manifest because you're not confident enough in yourself. One, literally, it comes down to making sure that your imagination is a true expression of your spirit. So when you have the awareness that you are infinite nothingness, from there, with no judgment, because judgment is way later. Like, there's really just no judgment. Like, think of it numerologically, whatever. We're at 0 going into 1. So you are infinite nothingness. Figuring out your imagination, that is your perfect imagination, not an imagination projected onto you, not lights that people are shining onto you in the world, like, oh, you this, and it's just lights hitting you. Like, your imagination coming out of you, the Big Bang. This is what the Big Bang is. People like are getting so lost in like the Big Bang theory, and it's like so funny because it's just like, the spiritual truth is that that's what it looks like when every 0 turns into a 1. When all that feeling, when all that feminine energy coming out of nothingness finally builds up into a light and like turns into something that's seen. And it's literally, see, a pyramid. It turns into just a triangle because it's fanning out, it's projecting out. And then that's where, because that's the external, that's what half the square is. So the internal would be the other side. So the spirit is like, like, boom, here's the external, and the internal is back here. And that's the other side. And then like those would be 2 triangles that if we put them, we have a square. which is the logical blocking out of infinity, which is a spirit. So we describe the spirit with circles, because that's 360. So it's 9. It actually encompasses all the numbers. Is the best shape for all possibilities. So having confidence in yourself is having confidence, feeling like you really are all possibilities and you really are infinite. So that's what one is your expression of how infinite you are. Like, who are you as an infinite individual? Two is everything that counteracts that. So that's all your demons, all the negative feelings, this stuff of like not trusting yourself in general. Like, that's two, where it's like everything heavy, the heaviest things. Like, your imagination is the lightest thing and your feelings are the heaviest thing. And you are just like in the balance of these. Like, I was going to say Spider-Man on the train. Um, but no, Spider-Man on the boat. Uh, in general, you are the balance of these things and you're using them to express yourself all the time. So that's just where it's literally about, if your imagination, your one, is something that's awesome, and then your two reveals that about yourself. So that's where like your internal work would be like sitting with your flame and like really fleshing out all of it and like turning it into water and seeing like when it's water and like all the negatives of it, all the negatives of what would balance out your imagination. Is that still something that you're down with, down to like handle? Because a lot of people, when they're like trying to manifest things, it's like truly just desires or just stuff that they kind of think they want from this forward perspective, like I'm talking about, where from an earth perspective, they're trying to talk to the zero. So they're going from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. When really, to actually manifest, you have to be from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. From infinity to then your imagination to then feeling like your imagination is real, which is what makes it real. So how do you become confident within yourself? It's a constant practice. So confident and constant, it's continuous. So that's just where it's reps in that case, right? The mind is a muscle. So you're just showing your spirit, like, even if you don't succeed at your imagination or whatever and you don't feel like you're confident now, just the fact that you're doing it consistently shows that you are actually more infinite in that space than someone who is not doing it consistently. Because someone who doesn't do it consistently is someone who's living more in desire. That's the ego. That's the one. They just want to do it once. And there's no rhythm in once. How do you have a song once? Like, boom, you got to have the two. The two is a circle. The two is a pendulum. So that's where you actually have a dance. Hella essential. So confidence is really making sure that your man and woman internally are married. And that's just really fleshing out why in that case. Like, using your feelings to ask questions. Like, if you're not confident in yourself, now that's why you're in a body and you can talk to your higher spirit who knows everything. Your spirit knows everything. Your spirit knows everything. It's just truly about if you communicate with it or not, and like how well you communicate with it, because you are your individual, infinite individual. Like, you know everything you need to know. Other people are more than happy to colonize your mind with their stories and tell you that their God created you and tell you that their thing did this for you and this other thing did this for you, because they're more than happy to take advantage of someone who doesn't know that they're creating themselves, because they need other people to help them create what they want to create in this all one space. When really, we can only create something alone when we're alone, which is when we're in our imagination. And that's what we're talking about here. How do you manifest who you are when you're alone? If you really are happy when you're alone, this is what I'm talking about. Like, really knowing your imagination, knowing the fire that you want to bring to this reality, so you don't actually burn things up and cause destruction in your life. Like, you're actually able to have it be sustainable. That's why the fire turns into water and you can connect it more into air. So your manifestation, your intention settles down into earth and actually turns into four, and you see the universe change around you. Because the universe is here to serve you. The universe is completely here to serve you because you serve yourself. The universe, being the feminine, is the feeling. The feeling serves the imagination. So that's where, um, and see, let's looking past English words, but this is why the people who made this language, we can see how they feel about these dynamics, these spiritual dynamics of masculine and feminine, of how the man is meant to be the master and the feminine, the woman, is meant to be the servant. So the universe, being the feminine, is there to serve you. What it really means is that your feelings are meant to serve the greater good of your imagination. That looks negative a lot. So like when people are being feminine, quote unquote, aka like it seems like the negative. So like a super uh the toxic word for that would be bitchy. So like if a girl's being bitchy, she's just being like in that polar opposite spiritual space of trying to balance out the imagination and provide all the feelings that are necessary for balancing out the desire that if there wasn't that thing, the desire would lead to death and there would actually not be life and the spirit failed. So we're talking about, yeah, all that. That's really basically it. Actually, confidence is really making sure that you feel good about your imagination and that you just show up every day once you do feel good about it, regardless of how you feel after that. Like that's the balance. Like you're not going to feel good about being young and having to go out and do logical stuff every day. It's just a matter of if you feel good about the vision and your imagination. Because once you have your vision and your imagination, that is how you sort of get to then figure out everything that's involved with that. And this is why, like, if you really want to manifest, people who really want to manifest and change their imaginations have to become totally different people because they've manifested their life up to that point. So it's literally about figuring out in a practical way. If I was just speaking like I was just speaking spiritual and metaphysically, scientifically. If we're talking about like really being practical with manifestation and how it looks scientifically, it is like, yeah, your imagination, no one can see it. Your feelings, no one can see it. And the moment that you bring your feelings and imagination together, you can communicate it. And this whole life is communication. So your whole ability to manifest is based on how you communicate with yourself and then thus take actions out here. So that's like a big point of fasting. A lot of people communicate with themselves in terms of wanting to constantly eat, and so they actually become the world. And they're actually manifesting for the people that made that food, for the system. And they're still being used without realizing because they're not aware of how everything, every second, all of life is man and woman coming together, is your fire and water coming together to make air. So that's basically confidence. Um, I'm thinking if there's like anything else because I know this is like a hot topic. Because this, yeah, confidence is just a huge thing. Yeah, confidence, like confidence. So con is your man and woman being together. They're connected, and then fide is like, I mean, really, just the word confide is you knowing who you are. So we'll end it like this: confidence, confidence is you having a secret of you knowing who you are, regardless of what the world says. So I know who I am, and I express that, and I do that consistently through lifetimes from my spirit. I just use these creations to do that, bodies. And that's just where it's like all simulations, and we're all here playing infinitely in the universe and all that. So that's where confidence needs to come from, is you knowing who you are. It's just a matter of if you can't see who you are, it really helps to create something that you feel like is an expression of your spirit. So then you can actually put your feelings and communicate your feelings and imagination into that. And that's where like you'll really manifest. So that'll be like how people really manifest out here in a logical way in terms of building a business. That's it.